and our dear students from schools and colleges, our dear students from Laurentia, our dear alumni from both schools and colleges, and the St.Lawrence University, our good friends in attendance, all the well-wishers around, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Mine is to just give a history of a man that we are celebrating his life today. Let me begin by saying that Professor Lawrence Muchibi was born on Friday, the 20th of February, 1948, to Mr. Petro Kimoli Semakula and Elizabeth Nabawanuka of Kavule Butenga, Masaka district. They are now deceased, all of them. He attended St. Charles Chance Primary School and St. Leonard Butenga Primary School for his primary education, and St. Francis Xavier Villa Maria in Masaka for Junior 1 and Junior 2. He joined St. Bernard's Kiswera for his secondary education, and between 1973 and 1977, he attended Makerere University, where he studied bachelor's degree in education under the mentorship of Professor J.C. Sekamwa, who should be maybe around. Wherever you are, Professor J.C. Sekamwa, you can stand up for recognition. You did a great work to educate our father. While studying at Makerere University School of Education, Professor Lawrence Muchibi taught at Nsambya Girls School, and immediately after his graduation, he left Uganda with some of his friends due to an unfavorable political environment at that time, and settled it in the Kisii Sabu region. Some of those people that he left with, I can recognize the presence of Professor Sechewa in our midst, and the presence of Professor Badu Katerega. Those are the younger members who were there by that time. Professor Mchibi's drive for greener pastures made him and his friends move from Kisii, and he finally settled in the Rift Valley of Kenya, in a town called Nakuru, at a school called Afraha High School. This was a turning point, for that he was, by that time, 29 years old, and he was made a headmaster of that school. So it was really a milestone during that time to have a 29-year-old graduate to be entrusted with a school of that caliber that he was leading. Under the mentorship of the proprietor of Afraha High School, Mr. Karanja Ndune, Professor Lawrence Muchibi developed several skills such as investment skills, financial skills, management skills, negotiation skills, human resource management skills, organizational skills, to mention but a few. These skills were very fundamental later in his journey while beginning St. Lawrence schools and colleges. During his 10 years as the head teacher of Afraha High School in Kenya, he attracted young Ugandans to work with him, and among them was Professor Sechewa that I've already mentioned, who is now currently our DVC at St. Lawrence University. Professor Sechewa, you can stand up again for more recognition. Professor Muchibi learned and embraced some important values in life that he lived and he practiced religiously. These values were discipline, determination, dedication, and they were inculcated into the entire management, staff, and students during his reign as a headmaster in that school, Afraha High School. In fact, Lawrence became so much of a symbol of those values in Nakuru town and the entire country at large that he became a celebrated icon who could turn a hardcore, indisciplined student into a very responsible and a disciplined leader in community. He so much embraced the spare the rod and spoil the child proverb. Professors no-nonsense ways of looking at a growing child and him hearts of many parents in Kenya, and as a result, the students' enrollment in Afraha High School increased beyond capacity. His relationship with the stakeholders and shareholders was so much admired by the public to the extent of becoming a novice in Kenya's education sector. As we all know, the famous lyric of Jim Reeves, that good song, that this world is not my home, I'm only passing through it. This applied to Professor Muchibi and his younger family, and most of the Ugandans who were working in Kenya by then. As time went on, a political situation similar to that of the expelled Asians in Uganda in 1972 occurred to Ugandans working in Kenya in 1988. The Moi government decided to expel many good Ugandans who had fled into Kenya and occupied the Kenya job markets at the expense of the citizens of Kenya. The situation continued to worsen due to the conflict between the Moi regime and the newly formed Museveni government, of which the Kenya government had not recognized a legitimate, has not recognized Museveni's government as a legitimate government. Moi's government began by expelling the Uganda High Commission to Kenya, followed by all Ugandans working in Kenya by issuing a 14-day ultimatum to leave Kenya so that the Kenyans who had no jobs fill those positions. Following that incident, Professor Muchibi had to relocate forcefully back to Uganda with his family and settled to work at Kampala Primary School as a head teacher. The only Kampala Primary School at that time, it was the only high-ended primary school, by then for the children of the affluent Ugandans, including those of the president. Many of his colleagues regarded his new job as disguised employment, having shifted from a high-end secondary school, moreover from Kenya, to a primary school in Uganda with all his experience. But Professor Muchibi knew too well that in every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. He only needed enough time to study the situation so that he could spot the opportunity. Armed with all the experience, beliefs, and values he brought along from Kenya, it didn't take long for him to network with the notables of this country, the likes of Amama Mbabas, the First Lady, the Honorable Sam Kutesa, the Right Honorable Ruhakana Rugunda, the Safaris, the Honorable Francis Babu, the Right Honorable Margaret Ziwa, just to mention but a few. Professor Lawrence was born and raised in the Catholic faith, both at home and throughout the school he attended. No wonder during some of his free time outside the place of work, he attended to church-related charity activities. Soon he was a member of Lubaga Cathedral Development Foundation, an organization that was overseeing the funding and development at Lubaga Church. Little did he know that through this organization, he would wine and dine with the notables of the Catholic Church, who would later be useful in the starting of St.Lawrence schools and colleges. Monsignor William Katende, who was the Lubaga Cathedral administrator by then, was very supportive. Monsignor William Katende, the one who has given us that spiritual prayer. Mr. Joko Steven, who happened to be the founder of Progressive Secondary School and also an old boy of St. Bernard's College, Sweden, was very instrumental in sharing his ideology with Professor Lawrence, which acted as a springboard for the launching of St. Lawrence schools and colleges on 15th March 1993. So this year we are marking 30 years of vivid existence. In short, that is how St. Lawrence schools and colleges were started or were born. But just to take you aback, for the sake of appreciating Professor Lawrence Muchibi's entrepreneurial journey, it was during his days while still working in Kenya when he started nurturing ideas and the thoughts of starting a school. He really admired his boss, then by the name of Karanja Ndune, now the late, whose education background was far much less than professors, but had a huge investment in various sectors of economy, education inclusive. Professor strategically decided to befriend his boss so as to tap into his wisdom, ideology, philosophy, vision, and mission. The one important lesson he learned from his boss is that whatever one is doing, there must be an alternative, and therefore one must think outside the box. He also learned that procrastination is a thief of time. Therefore, no excuse for postponing any scheduled activity. Professor learned how to allocate finances to priorities first and leave out those activities with less impact. The value of discipline, determination, and dedication were paramount and most likely inherited from the late Karanja Ndune. Having observed religiously and ingrained with Karanja's vision, Professor Lawrence Muchibi would spend sleepless nights putting his concept of the state-of-the-art school to paper. This school would soon be built somewhere on a yet-to-be acquired piece of land in Kenya. He would name his school Citizens High School. It is little wonder that in 1993, when he was breaking the ground for his school, he named it Progressive Citizens High School, located just near Kabakas Lake. That's where we are starting. That's where the groundbreaking was. This started purely as a day school, but later it phased into a purely boarding school. Occupying 10 acres of land, one may wonder how Professor Muchibi acquired this strategically located piece of land, formerly belonging to Agri Memorial School. This piece of land stretched between the Village Palace and the Kabakas